As I'm sure most of you will be aware on this channel, my favourite Betfair trading strategy is without doubt the under 2.5 goal strategy. It is because it is simple, it's extremely easy to understand, and you can really minimise the amount you lose. Don't get me wrong, there are still times using the strategy where you can lose the majority of your stake, but when I've used it in the past, it is quite simple. And even if a goal does come in the game, as you'll learn in a second when I quickly go over the strategy again, that does impact the amount of profit and loss you will get from the trade, but you can have then strategies that will help you reduce the loss. But one issue I've always had with this strategy is knowing what time to get out of the trade. You can stay in the trade for 10 to 15 minutes normally and get a nice 10% return if a goal doesn't come in the game. But sometimes you'll also see online where people use this strategy for the full first half of the game. Some people go into the second half, and it really does just depend on who you ask as to when you should leave the market. I wanted to try out and see how much you could actually make and lose depending on when you leave the market itself. So last week, during the weekend fixtures of the championship, I decided to keep record of at what point goals went in the games, what the odds would be, what you'd get if you were to cash out of the trade at that point, and everything of that nature. And I've kept note of it all, and we're going to go through that now and see just what the profit and loss would have been if you got out of the trade 10 minutes in, if you got out of the trade 20 minutes in, half time, 80th minute, and full time with every single game in the championship from last Saturday. Now, I chose the championship because I quite frequently check the championship scores because I'm a Middlesbrough fan, and whenever it gets to half time, I seem to always be saying there's been no goals in the championship. There has been 2 goals. There's very rarely a huge amount of goals when it comes to half time in the championship. Now, just my luck, the weekend of trying this, I think every game in the Premier League was 0-0 at half time at 3 o'clock, whereas in the championship there was 3 games, I think, where there was goals, and in 2 of the games, goals came in the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game itself. So it obviously will change week on week. You shouldn't use this piece of information here as just a blanket rule that will apply to everything and every single game of football, because these strategies take hours and hours of testing and hundreds of games worth of research to really perfect. But I hopefully will be able to provide a bit of information here that might help you when you come to use this strategy. So what is the under 2.5 goal strategy? Well, it's quite simple. If we come over here to Betfair itself and just say load up a football game, so if we go to the games that are going on at the moment, we've got Italy women versus Sweden women and whoever these teams are here. Now, if you come to the under 2.5 goal market, all you do for this strategy is back a team before kickoff, hope it stays 0-0, and then depending on at what point you want to cash out for a profit, you should be able just to cash out and take a profit. And if we just take a look at the odds here, the issue comes when a goal happens. So as you can see here, if you got into this trade around about that 2.75, waited until I think the goal came there at the 17th minute. If you got out at the 15th, 16th minute down here, you'd have made quite a few ticks worth of profit. But if you stayed in them extra few minutes, you can see the odds shot back up and you would have made, in fact, you probably wouldn't have made that much of a loss because of how late on the goal came, but you would have made a little bit of a loss by the looks of it. Now, you can see with trades like this, you can actually stay in the market, and you can see if you just stayed in the market even after the goal had come, you would have still ended up making a profit down here at the bottom, and by the time it got to the 71st minute when this second goal's just gone in, you still would have made a profit. It wouldn't be as much of a profit, but you can see it would have still been a profit from your original entry point. Now, this is worth noting for other games as well, so if we just take a look at this game over here, you can see that because there was quite a lot of time there, the 41st minute before a goal came, even when that goal did eventually come, there wasn't that much difference of a jump. So here you're actually still making a profit. Now, obviously that changes when the second goal comes, and that's where the risk is. But you can see that if a goal does come in the 41st minute or close to half time, you're not actually making as much of a loss as you'd expect. You can actually still be making a profit. So the point here is we're trying to figure out at what point in a game does a goal come and then you lose your money. Because we've saw here from this game, a goal from around about the 40th minute onwards, you might still be making some profit. We saw from this game over here, if the second goal comes in the second half, you're still making a profit. The first goal there came in the 17th minute, and we were still probably just edging a profit after maybe an extra 2 minutes after the goal. So when I've been doing this and going in from the 15th and coming out at the 15th minute, I should say, and getting a little bit of profit, it might genuinely be worthwhile just staying for an extra 5 minutes, because a goal might not do too much to the odds. So let's get over to the spreadsheet and see what happens. So if I'd gone into this trade, bearing in mind this is with £10 as a stake, we always go in with a small amount of stake over here. So you can see with the Derby Peterborough game, the start odds are here, the odds after 10 minutes are there, odds after 20 minutes are there, odds at half time, 80th minute and full time. And if I just unhide the total column here, you can see that if I'd have gone in with a blanket set of odds or a blanket set of budget stake in this at £10 for all these games, there would never have been a point throughout any of these matches where I was making a profit for all of them. You can see at 10 minutes we were £4.60 down, 20 minutes we were £20 down, half time we then went back into profit, or back into the green on this graph anyway, but we were still in a loss of £5. Over here we got to minus £8, and by full time, if we'd have stuck with all of them, we would have been sat at £14 and 12 pence. So it's not ideal at all. We wouldn't have got any money. But you can see with some of these games, especially the Coventry Barnsley one, we could have took away £7.75. Derby Peterborough, £6 over there. But with the majority of the time, if we'd have done it for this round of fixtures, we would have lost some money. But then I wanted to see what would have happened if we'd have got out after a goal in these markets. So if we'd have left the Peterborough Derby one and cashed out after a goal had come, we would have still made that £6 profit, because the goals didn't come till really late on. If we'd have left the Cardiff Blackpool one, again, similar story, we would have got all the way to the end and would have made a profit. If we'd have left the Stoke Birmingham one, when a goal came around the 20th minute here, and we would have cashed out for that minus £3 loss. Next one down, we would have gone for that minus £6.15 as a goal came. You can see that later on in this Preston Reading game, you would have made less of a loss if you'd stuck in the market, but then if you'd have stuck in the market even further, you would have lost your whole stake. So I've just gone with the first goal getting scored in these instances. So you can see there, we would have lost £6.15. Next one down, we would have waited all the way to the end and took a profit. Similarly with Coventry Barnsley, Middlesbrough Bristol, we would have took a very quick loss within the first 10 minutes after getting in at the start odds. Again, you can see with this one, because of how early the goal came and then how late the next goals came in this game, we could have actually stuck in the market and got a bigger profit, but for the sake of this little graph over here, we're just doing the first goal when you'd cash out. So you can see we would have took a loss. Next one down again, you can see the profit, and then you can see for the bottom one a big loss as well. But if we'd have done that for all of them there, you can see we would have made a profit, despite the fact that a goal came in half of the games, or just under half of the games I should say, but 4 out of the 9 games there, a goal came, and we were still able to make a profit if we'd stayed in all of the games to the end, or all the games until a goal came. Obviously you're not going to make a profit every time, because there was a few games there that finished 0-0 or the goals didn't come till late on, so that's not going to happen every week. But you can see there might be some added value there to staying in the market a little bit longer than you might expect. Now, coming into this video, before I did this little experiment, I would 100% of the time get out of the market around the 10th to 15th minute. Now, when I'm looking at this, I am probably going to be staying a little bit later in these trades. I'm probably not going to be as worried about the first goal anymore. It's the second goal that I'm probably going to be more worried about, but before I'd be so worried about that first goal going in. Now I'm not as worried. Now I think I will stay in these markets a bit more towards the half-time mark, especially with watching the game live and seeing what's going on, depending on if the teams are attacking or not. But I think I'm quite okay to stay at half-time. There's an argument here to be said that you should probably wait till full-time, but still, I'm quite happy I'm doing a small little change, going from 10 minutes to half time. Maybe if it still stays a bit profitable there, we might boost it up a little bit more. And then this is one little added step to this that I wanted to check out. What if you didn't get into the under 2.5 market until a goal came? So you were waiting until the team scored first, and I was using this within the first half just to make sure that there was actually some still decent odds to play with. If a goal came in the second half, chances are the odds didn't really fluctuate too much, and it wasn't really worth the risk of getting into the trade. So I'm saying if a team scored in the first half, what would then happen if we got in at them odds and then stayed in for the rest of the game? So let's get them odds up. So you can see here down the bottom, only 6 of the games had a goal come in the first half. You can see the start odds that we were given there, and you can see the odds after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half time, 80th minute and full time. If we got in for every game and stayed till full time after a goal had come in the first half, we would have lost £18. We would have made £14 on one game, £6.50 on another, but on all the others we would have lost our full stake. But you can also see here how the risk to reward does kind of move with, the reward does move with the risk here. So there's the added risk of the extra goals, but when it pays off, your £10, as you can see up here, the £10 for the Peterborough Derby game returned us £6 profit when we won the trade. But down here for Cardiff Blackpool, after the first goal had come, it returned £14.62. So there is that added extra reward, but the risk really isn't necessarily worthwhile doing it, especially if you wanted to wait the whole time. Now, if we did a similar thing down here as to what we did at the top and got out when that goal came, so in this instance it would be the second goal coming, let's go see how much profit and loss we would have got then. So you can see that here it would have made a profit of £4.23. Now, I don't have a good enough selection here of the odds that actually happened with the Bristol Middlesbrough one. As you can see, if we look over here at SofaScore, their second goal came in the 68th minute, but still the odds of this in the 80th minute still would have got us a profit of £13.28. So I'm guessing the odds didn't change too much because of how late their second goal came. So I'm actually going to take just a guess here to make it a bit fairer. It probably wasn't incredible odds, but it also won't have been a loss. It definitely will have still had a profit. So I'm actually just going to take the odds over here of this £8.28, and I'm going to take just a few pounds off it and go to about £5.20. That is just a rough guess with that one, but you can tell by the fact that a goal came between these two events here and there was still an increase in profit, which shows that because the second goal came so late on, there was still the opportunity for profit. But this is still as if I was cashing out at that second goal going in. So you can see if you get into the market, or at least for this selection of games here, if you get into the market when a first half goal comes and then leave the trade either till full time or leave it until the second goal comes, we were actually making a decent profit. So up here we were making about 35%, close to 36%, whereas down here we were making 94% of a return on our trades. Now obviously, both here I probably wouldn't recommend doing this. You should never be staying in for the full duration of the match. You should always be looking to find a better way to maximise your profit. So I think personally for me, I am going to be looking to stay in there till half time. And I think even if a goal comes early in the first half, you can still possibly use the under 2.5 goal strategy and then still get out at half time. You can see there was still a profit to be made there, even when one of the trades completely lost and we lost our whole stake. What I am also saying, with this bit of information here, maybe we need to do a lot more investigating on it, and I definitely will. But it doesn't look like the end of the world if you wanted to stay in the trade a little bit longer, depending on how the game's going. And it's definitely something I'm going to be giving a bit more of a look to. Let me know down below in the comments what point you actually leave the trade when it comes to under 2.5. Are you someone who just likes to stay in there until you get your 10%? Are you someone who likes to risk it a little bit and go till half time? Are you someone who just instantly cashes out after a goal, or do you wait for the odds to readjust? Let me know down below. Obviously you guys will know this is my favourite strategy without a doubt, and I'm always looking on tips and tricks on how we can extract more profit from things, and I think looking at this bit of information here is quite helpful. It is obviously just one selection. It will change massively weekend to weekend, but looking at this, it looks like there is a bit of value that you can add, especially if you wait and leave things in the trade. I mean, both of these in the end here We cashed out when there was a bit of risk with the first one, when a goal came, second one when the second goal came, and then we left the others just to run out throughout the game. You can see there that we made a profit on both instances. Now, whether or not you want to do something different, maybe a mix of the two, maybe if a goal comes, you just green out if the opportunity's there, or you green up at half time and then let them run. There is a huge range of different things you can do with this, and I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. Obviously, if you want to use this strategy yourself, the under 2.5 goals, go do some more research on it, look through other people's videos. I'm by no means an expert and don't want to give this out as advice. This is just a nice little bit of an experiment to see exactly what happened. But thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. If you've got any recommendations for videos that you want to see on this channel, please do let me know down in the comments, and please let me know what you think of this. I'm open ears, trying to wait and hear what you guys have to say about it. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.